All right, welcome back to Getting Sober, again. My name is Jay, and today we're gonna ask the question of what's the point of sobriety? But first, if you haven't yet, don't forget to show your support for everybody here in this sobriety community by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you care about your sobriety journey as much as we do, then make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. All right, let's get started. So today I'm gonna answer the question of what's the point of sobriety by telling you why I wanted to quit drinking in the first place. So when I started thinking about getting sober, I was probably in my late 20s. Now, I don't know about you, but I started drinking when I turned 21, actually. I had my first drink when I was like 19, and then I puked and I said never again. But when I went off to college and I was actually legally allowed to drink and maybe had a credit card or two at my disposal, I found myself wanting to go out and socialize and meet other people. And I felt like the only way that I could tolerate being around other human beings is by being heavily intoxicated. And we talk about the difference between being alone and being lonely being two separate things. And in my early years, I was absolutely confusing being alone and having alone time with loneliness. And so I was doing things that I didn't really want to do. I was going out to nightclubs. And if you ask me then, and if you ask me still now, if I would ever voluntarily want to go to a nightclub, the answer is 100% no. I don't really like the vibe of those places. I don't like the music that they play. I don't like the type of people that typically hang out at those type of venues. So when we put ourselves in situations that we maybe don't feel comfortable in or we don't really want to be associated with, it's easy to find ourselves getting intoxicated to maybe feel like we fit in a little bit better. Or maybe to drink enough so that we stop caring about how much we don't think that we fit in. We're all just figuring it out, right? And depending on how you were raised, what kind of community you come from, maybe you had a religious background, maybe you didn't. Maybe you had both parents, maybe you didn't. Maybe you grew up in an upper class neighborhood, maybe you didn't. We all come from different walks of life. And at the end of the day, we all relate to each other because we all have feelings. And either we have better coping mechanisms for handling how we feel and how we adapt to stress, or we don't. Some of us went to therapy, and some of us didn't. Some of us learn how to be functioning adults from dysfunctional adults. And unfortunately, there's no manual for life. You get a little bit of wisdom maybe from your teachers, you get a little bit of wisdom maybe from your pastor, you get a little bit of wisdom from your parents, from your aunts, from your uncles, and you get a lot of information, whether it be good information or bad information, from your friends. So again, going back to the question of what's the point of getting sober? I'll never be the person to say that alcohol is the devil. I'm not going to be the person to say that alcohol by itself is bad. I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with drinking in moderation. I just know that I couldn't drink in moderation, and I didn't want to drink in moderation. I didn't just want a little bit of alcohol, I wanted a lot of alcohol. I wanted to binge drink, but I knew, just as you know, that there's a problem with daily binge drinking. Why is it such a problem? It's a problem because when we have problems in our life, when we have emotional problems, when we have stresses, when we have traumas, when we have leftover childhood traumas that we never really got resolved, or maybe we didn't go to therapy, we keep a lot of things locked inside. We keep a lot of things bottled up, and then we end up carrying that baggage into our adulthood, into our 20s, into our 30s, into our 40s, or even later. In one of our last videos, we said that it's never too late to start your sobriety journey. We get comments from people starting their sobriety journeys in their 60s, in their 70s, or maybe even in their 80s. It's never too late to start being the best version of you. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to get sober. I'd recognized that my life was starting to plateau. I was starting to become very predictable, just as I imagine that you are. Every time that I got stressed out, I drank. Every time I got excited about something, I drank. Every time that I was getting ready to go on a first date, I drank before the date, and then I drank on the date, and then I drank after the date. Every time I was in a bad mood, I drank. And every time I was in a good mood, I drank too. It didn't matter. I didn't need a reason to drink. I just knew that I wanted to drink. I felt like drinking was the only thing that was gonna make me happy. It didn't matter which friends I was hanging out with, I wanted to drink. It didn't matter if I was going to see my family, I wanted to drink. It didn't matter if it was a holiday or if it was a Monday, I wanted to drink. So I identified that that was a problem. I wanted to drink too much. I couldn't necessarily afford it. And I know that there's people out there that says like, well, so I can't afford it, so it means it's not a problem, right? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. It means that your life can still absolutely be out of balance. Just because you can afford monetarily to keep drinking doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you. Every single person has to know where their line in the sand is and which side they want to be moving forward. The point of getting sober for me was I wanted to stop being predictable. I wanted to stop letting my friends and my family down, and more importantly, myself, because I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential. I felt like my dad came all the way from the Philippines to the United States for no reason whatsoever. What was the point of coming to the United States and having a kid if that kid was just gonna grow up and have a drinking problem and end up being a loser and not productive? And I'm not saying that that's how any of you feel. I'm just saying that's how I felt. I felt like I was capable of doing more. And though I was trying to do more, I was eating healthy, I was always hydrating, I was feeding my mind, I was watching plenty of YouTube videos because I was terrible at reading, but I had a lot of good habits. I felt like I was doing a lot of things right. I even told my therapist so. But one of the things that I didn't tell my therapist was how much I was drinking. I just kept showing up to therapy and saying, there's something wrong with me. I have a lot of anxiety today. And then he show you the chart of like 0 being the happy face, like how much pain are you in? And 0 is the happy face. And they would ask me the question every time I went in there, and I would think about, well, what's going on in my personal life? Like what's going on in my home life? What's going on in my relationship? What happened at work? And all the while too, I just wasn't addressing the main problem, which was I was getting shit-faced every day. I was probably getting blackout drunk at least once a week. I did a pretty good job of not getting blackout drunk, but also too, that was just a byproduct of having an insanely high tolerance, just as I'm sure you have a really high tolerance too. Another reason why I wanted to get sober is because it was costing me a lot of money to continue drinking every day. We always like to say, isn't it amazing how you never seem to have money to do anything important or worthwhile, but you always seem to have money to get drunk every day, don't you? And I don't know about you, but for me, that meant like, well, I haven't maxed out this credit card yet. I still have a little bit of room on this card, so my bar tab might only be 20 or 30 or 40 bucks, and maybe there's still $200 or $300 left on this credit card. So I know I'll pay it off eventually, but I know I don't have to pay it off right now. So it's not my problem today. That's future me's problem. And I kept doing that over and over again. It's all these toxic behaviors. It's all these predictable behaviors. There's all these ways that I was kind of getting disgusted with myself. I felt like I was letting everybody down. I felt like I wasn't going to amount to anything. I felt like I had plateaued in life. I felt like I was limiting myself, but part of me didn't want to believe that the way that I was limiting myself was with alcohol. Like I had said a million times before, I did everything to quit drinking alcohol except for quitting drinking alcohol. I'd cut back on other bad habits. I was already in therapy. I was taking my vitamins. I was exercising. I was trying to eat organic. I was doing my box breathing, 4 seconds in, hold it for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, wait 4 seconds. I was doing all of the things that I was supposed to do to help improve my mental health, except for stop poisoning myself every day. You know, part of it too was I was looking in the mirror every day just like you are, and I started to not really like how I was looking. I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I didn't like what I saw when I took my shirt off. After I got sober, I found out that alcohol actually inhibits your protein synthesis, which ends up affecting your ability to build proper muscle. And on top of it taking me more and more to get drunk, sometimes I wasn't even getting drunk. I was just getting the hangover. Alcohol, just like any other substance that we can abuse, hits the hardest in the beginning. Nothing is ever going to compare to that first drink that we have. And then slowly but surely, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And our anxiety increases, and our depression increases, and our problems increase, and our weight increases, and the wrinkles in our skin increase, and our physical health gets worse. So again, when we ask the question of what's the point of getting sober, it's all of that. And I'm sure that you relate to all that. I'm sure that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sure that you're sick and tired of waking up and feeling hungover. I'm sure that you're tired of waking up and not feeling better until about noon or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and then being stuck in that loop, in that cycle of feeling like, oh, I'm starting to feel better now. Maybe I can start thinking about drinking again. And then know that you're going to clock out at 5 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, you're thinking about going to the liquor store or going to the bar. And as soon as you clock out of work, you're thinking about drinking. As soon as you get in the car and you turn the keys in the ignition, you're thinking about drinking. And as soon as you get home and you crack the refrigerator open, you're just stuck in this loop, but it's conditioning. We did that to ourselves. I know what it feels like because I did that to myself, just like you did that to yourself. But at some point, we have to break the generational cycle and break those generational traumas. And all those bad habits that we were conditioned to in the past isn't necessarily anybody's fault, but it is our responsibility to break those chains and to start making progress slowly but surely. And to start gaining confidence and start looking in the mirror and liking who you're seeing and start doing more positive things for yourself that you can be proud of when you lay your head down at night. And then you can honestly say to yourself, I feel like I earned my sleep today. How many of you honestly ask yourself that question? I know that maybe not a lot of people do that, but I feel like, and I believe that all of us should ask ourselves that at the end of the night. Did I earn my sleep? And if you can answer yes to did I earn my sleep today, then you'll know that your future self and your current self are on the same team and you're both looking out for one another. So again, the point of sobriety is to be more dependable, to be more reliable, to be more trustworthy, to stop creating new problems and start solving all the old ones that you've left in the wake of destruction through your drinking career. I know that you want to be a better version of yourself. I know that maybe you want to feel younger, look younger, feel happier, be less stressed, less anxious, less depressed. And maybe too, you want to lower your blood pressure. Maybe you want to get off a medication or maybe even to try to attempt to get off all the medications. Now, this isn't a promise, but these are the things that we've seen in this community. Almost everybody that gets sober at least 30 days later report that their blood pressure gets lowered. A lot of people report having their gastrointestinal issues going away. Myself, I had acute pancreatitis. I had pain in my left side all the time. And now 3 years later, I feel much better. And I can't say that that's just because of sobriety. And I don't ever say that anything is just because of sobriety. But what is sobriety? Sobriety is self-improvement. And when we start on a self-improvement journey, we're not going to just get sober and then sit there and cross our arms and say, okay, well, I'm waiting for the benefits, so where are they? You still have to go to work, right? You still have to brush your teeth. You still have to make your bed. You still have to pack your lunch, go to the grocery store, get your car washed, all of that. We still have to be responsible for ourselves, but we're going to be also too introducing small incremental changes along with our sobriety. We're going to be giving sobriety new healthy friends, like maybe exercise, like maybe eating healthy, like maybe eating organic, like maybe feeding our mind with brand new information by maybe listening to some books on tape, by maybe watching some more helpful YouTube videos just like this one. So what's the point of sobriety? It's all about self-improvement. And for me personally, I already had a bunch of good habits. Like maybe you relate to that. Comment down below if you have a bunch of really good habits, but maybe you're just trying to figure out like, what's wrong with me? And that's exactly how I felt. Every day I was still making room for alcohol. It's kind of like when you get into a new relationship with somebody else, but you don't take that certain someone's phone number out of your contact list. That's kind of how I was with alcohol. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go towards having a better, brighter future, but I'm still gonna get drunk every day, right? But I just found out that it just really wasn't working for me. I couldn't really drink in moderation. I didn't want to drink in moderation. I was very much of the opinion of what's the point of moderation so that I can just what? Just waste money and just not get drunk? So clearly I had a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I never had a healthy one. I didn't want to just drink a little. I wanted to drink a lot. I wanted to be heavily intoxicated. I wanted to binge drink. Almost always off rip, I would order a double shot of tequila and a beer. That would just get me started. That's what I needed just to get my buzz going. And you can imagine doing that every day is kind of expensive. So you might resort from going to the bar to then just maybe drinking at home, because obviously it's like 4 times cheaper to drink at home. And then maybe the quality of the alcohol that you're buying is even worse. Maybe you're drinking vodka and you're drinking, I don't know, like a Goose or Tito's. And then it was, maybe I'm going to drink Absolute. And then maybe you're like, I'm going to drink, by the way, I hate vodka, so I don't even really know all the brands. And then I'm going to drink the plastic jug that's down closer to the bottom shelf, and then now I'm just drinking the bottom shelf, and now I'm just buying vodka from Walgreens and it's only plastic, and it's got the little red screw top, and it's got the handle, and it's $18.99, but it's 1.5 liters, and it's only 20% alcohol. And also too, that was another point of why I wanted to get sober, because I felt like my standards were getting lower and lower and lower. It was harder to get out of bed every day. I was depressed every single day. I was waking up with anxiety every single day, or even worse, on top of that, alcohol obviously affects our sleep. Let's say I was going to the bar till last call at 2 a.m. where I live, and then I'd stay around and linger until 2:30, and I'd go home, and of course I couldn't sleep right away, or maybe I was lucky and I could sleep right away because I drank myself stupid, and then I fall asleep at say 3 o'clock in the morning, and then like clockwork, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning or maybe 5 o'clock in the morning with crippling anxiety, with my heart pounding through my chest, having to go to the bathroom, struggling to fall back asleep, maybe waking up another hour later at 6 a.m. when I don't want to. I feel like crap, waking up at 7, feel tired, feel like crap, wake up at 8, feel tired, feel like crap, and then do that to myself every single day. And then try to compensate for my terrible behavior at night with more healthy behavior during the day, again by eating healthy, by taking vitamin supplements, overhydrating, taking my electrolytes and all that stuff. So it was like costing me all this time and energy. I felt like I was burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. And that really only leaves so much time in the middle of the day to really accomplish what you need to accomplish to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be. So it's like I reprioritized. That was another point of sobriety. It was like I needed to reprioritize what was important for me. I wanted to be more productive. I wanted to not feel guilty if I wanted to take a nap in the middle of the day. Ideally, I would have great sleep the night before, so I wouldn't have to take a nap during the middle of the day. But sometimes with, running the channel and answering all your comments, which I love to do, don't forget to comment down below, answering all the comments, the emails, all the responsibilities I get to have with this channel, there's a lot of mental work that goes into working on these videos and being the host of this channel. So I appreciate where I'm at in life. I have a lot more gratitude for all of the things that I have in life. And that was also another point of getting sober. I didn't really appreciate anything. I didn't appreciate the fact that I had a roof over my head. I didn't appreciate the fact that I had food in my refrigerator, that I had any money in my bank account, that I had a trusty, reliable, dependable vehicle. I was taking everything for granted. I didn't care if it was a nice sunny day. I didn't care if my parents were alive. I didn't care if I was in a relationship with anybody. All I wanted to do was get drunk. So if you relate to any of these red flags about for whether or not it's time for you to entertain maybe getting sober, then comment down below and let us know how you're feeling and what your objective is moving forward. And also too, stay tuned next week. We have a very important video just for you, which is how to get sober on your own in just 30 days or less. And we always love hearing from you, so don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. And with that, I want to wish you good luck on your self-improvement journey, and I will see you in the next video. If you want to see another one of our videos, click here.